Hello. Ready for our I think this will be our last video, or maybe it'll be our first video of the fall season.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Happy fall. Happy pumpkin spice season.
Oh, yes. Yes. So what are we doing today?
Today we're doing wounds. And
Right.
look, people came back to watch wounds with us. So that's nice.
Yeah, because we all have them, even
We all
though we're
have
not
them.
going to show them. So
And they
wounds
affect
in this
how we
case,
make our decisions in day-to-day life, and especially in romance.
yes, it comes from that crack, those hurts, those flaws that are core to our character that are preventing us from moving forward. And in the case of a romance, moving towards our happily ever after.
It was hard to narrow it down. To pick my favorite wounds was a little
Yeah.
challenge.
Well, what did you start with?
I started with loss of a loved one. Doesn't have to be
Really?
a parent or whatever, but like some valued advice giver. We all have the confidant, the wise person, the grandparent, the aunt, the uncle, the lovely neighbor, the parent, and then we lose them. And then that can stick with us for a really long time and make it difficult to get past that and exist without them and survive on our own feet without their words of wisdom to guide us.
I agree. I agree so much that actually it was word for word what my favorite wound was.
Really? That's
Yeah,
fun.
loss of a loved one. I think it's pretty universal, and we can say that we are prepared. Like I think of with my parents who statistically died of old age, right?
Mm-hmm.
93 and 91, but it still hit hard in it, like you're reconciled to the death, but it's still the memories that are locked up in the objects or in the little
Mm,
music.
because
I
the thing
lost my
becomes
sister
them.
too to cancer,
Oh my goodness.
before, way before her time, right?
Yeah.
And there are some songs like Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer. That was one of her favorites. So every time it comes on, I just rock that song because it's just, it was her, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and so it changes you forever. And the younger it happens, the harder it is. I know a character, there was a 5-year-old in my book who lost her dad. And so much of the novel was kind of how do they navigate grief and death with this little one when they're going through it themselves.
Hmm.
Because you just don't ever get over
No, you don't get
losing a
over it.
loved
I mean, the edge of the wound is dulled by time, but you're not over it. You're just not. You're just not gonna. You're not gonna get over that. I mean, I still try to phone my mom. It's like
yeah,
she's been gone 12 years, right? And that wound will always stick with me and affects how I react and act. And that's just how it is. It
that's
lingers.
just how it is.
Yeah.
But
And
it
everybody
can
has
affect,
that. You're right. It's universal.
yeah, and it kind of gets at you when you are in that special relationship too, because yes, you do lose that advisor, and you're always, and because they're not even there, you suddenly create what their advice would be,
Yeah.
which can
Well,
be
and the
deadly
seeking
times.
approval too, right? Like
Yeah,
you want your mom to be proud of you, but you're never going to hear it. You have to, you know,
yeah,
I will say imagine it, but it's not really imagining. It's like you have to sense it another way.
yeah, yeah. I would totally agree. All right, see if you could. I can match you on the set on the what would be the third one, second one.
Okay. Oh, it's really less serious. In the past, you had a bad breakup and you feel perhaps ashamed that that happened, or you are insecure for sure. You are maybe guilty, maybe. There's a whole bunch of layers that you could play off of through this experience of the bad breakup that could stop you from progressing as
And if the bad and the setup for that is if the bad breakup was with the return of that other. So then it becomes a second chance romance, possibly, depending on the nature of that bad breakup.
yeah.
So actually it's not that small. It's quite an important one, especially that kind of cuts right to the core of it, because if you've had a bad breakup in the past, whether or not he reappears, there's still that ghost of that person that will color
Hmm.
everything going forward, right? Is
Yeah.
like, oh, this person was this way. He's now the brother of this bad boy, right? So he's got to have some of those bad boy characteristics
It still
as
messes
well.
with
And then
you.
you're like, ooh, check that. Sorry,
Yeah.
I talked right over you, Tracy. What did you say?
I said it still messes with you. It messes with you.
Yeah.
On and on and on.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't just burn their underwear and assume that it's over.
You know, that's unfortunate though, because that would be quite the cleansing ritual on
Yeah,
many.
it would be. So mine at the end, and this is kind of another sort of sticking point related back to losing a loved one, because it's a case of where you can never go back to what was before, is failing to do the right thing.
Mm.
And I know that it happens to all of us, and we wish we'd stuck up for that kid at school instead of walking away, or we should have made a statement when we just sort of let it go, and then there was consequences for that. As again, as a huge wound, you can never make it right. You can never go back in time. If only we could.
Wonder what a mess.
Although then
that
you
would make.
wonder, being human, what other mistakes you would make.
When you take that branch, you make that decision to stand up for the kid or not, and then look how far apart you end from where that choice was made, right? And you just can always wonder what might have happened if, and you can never fix it.
Yeah. And you've created a different person in yourself and in that other person by failing to act. So you can fail to do the right thing by not doing anything, or you can fail to do the right thing by doing the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I guess it would be a step further is if you participated in bullying, for instance, or you didn't ask that male or female lead out for the high school prom, and they went with the wrong person, and all those little things. So, or you went there with the wrong person.
Yeah.
They did ask and you refused them because they didn't seem popular enough. And notice how we're using a lot of examples, or at least I am, from childhood. So not going to go into it, but I think I might have wounds from there.
And that's maybe why we write.
Yes.
To get these out.
Because this time we are going to do the right thing, or at least we're going to have our characters do the right
redemption, thing. Right? Redemption. We talked about that the other day. We can redeem ourselves, or try to anyway. It's a valiant attempt.
That's going to lead into our next show, which is tropes.
Oh, how are we going to pick favorites? Oh, well, it'll be fun to talk about that.
It'll be fun.
Looking forward.
So remember, like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, do that, guys. Hey, why don't you share us with someone? That would be lovely also.
I'm willing to be shared.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. It's like pumpkin pie. Think of me as your pumpkin pie and share about failing to do the right thing.
Yeah, don't make that mistake. Don't fail to do the right thing.
That's right. All right. Until next time.
Until next time.
Bye, gal.
Bye, yeah.